Hello and welcome to another edition of Mission Faith. Today, the topic is going to be the follow-up to the parable of the hidden treasure. Today's parable in this video is the pearl of great price, or the pearl of great value, as almost a follow-up in addition to what Jesus was talking about in the parable of the great treasure. So with me today, I've got Avery Hodges. Avery, how you doing, brother?
Doing good. Blessed to be here. Excited for this one.
Right on, man. Thank you for joining us. I've also got Johnny Holder. Johnny, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Right on. It's this has been such an exciting series for us covering these parables. So this is a follow-up to another parable, also known as the twin parables. And in this one, it's just a couple of verses. It comes from Matthew 13, verse 45 and 46. And this is where Jesus compares the kingdom of heaven to a merchant who is searching for fine pearls. And so the difference here is that, and we'll get into this later, but he's actually searching for it. And when he finds the one pearl of great value, he goes and sells everything he has in order to buy that pearl of great value. So that's the setup for the parable that we will get into with a few questions. And in the last one, we did pretty good. We did okay. We got through a few questions. Took us a while to get there. So I'm expecting something similar with this one. That's the parable. And so, Johnny, take it away for us. What does this actually mean? What is the meaning behind it?
Yeah. So, like you was talking about this being the twin parable to the hidden treasure, it reinforces the same idea. So it's got the same core message. The kingdom of God is likened to something of great value. The pearl, has great value just like the hidden treasure did. But what's the unique difference is that with the merchant man, he didn't just stumble across the pearl. He was actively searching for the pearl. So, in this one, we see a different take on personality. This man is actually looking for this valuable pearl instead of just coming across it. But
that's cool. So what do you think it means for him to have sold everything to buy just that one pearl? So
that means when he found that pearl, he knew that he had to have it. And in order for him to have it, he had to sell everything he had. And it was a no-brainer. Same as with the man and the hidden treasure. It was a no-brainer. There was no weighing the risk. It was just, I'm going to sell everything. I've got to have that pearl.
Okay. I've got a curveball coming for later. That's fascinating stuff. So, Avery, what's the application for today?
So when we get into the application, and this is one way I like to look at it here is, in the hidden treasure, the man didn't know what he was looking for. He didn't know that he was looking for something. And that's, a lot of non-believers today don't know what they're looking for something. They don't know what it is. Some people don't know they're looking. But today as Christians, we know the value in what we're looking for. And a lot of us have found it. So I look at it too as we strive to be closer to the Lord. And sometimes we need to take a step back and look at, what is truly valuable in our lives? What does our actions in our lives say about our walk with God? Are we trying to grow closer to the Lord, or are we trying to live more in the world? And it's easy to look at that and say, okay, am I getting out and reading my Bible as much as I can? Should be every day, but let's face it, not all of us get in it every day. I'm guilty of it myself. And then, this is one area that I've noticed a change in my life. I'm valuing time with my fellow Christians more than, time with my hobbies, or time with, time at work, trying to make all this money to pay for all these things. So I'm reevaluating what is truly valuable to me. And the most valuable thing to me is building a relationship with the Lord, because through that process, through that process of building that relationship, not only am I getting closer to the Lord and He's changing me, He's making me a better person, but now I'm showing my son how to build that relationship. I'm showing my wife how to build that. I'm letting the glory of the kingdom come out by just simply obeying and repenting and growing with the Lord.
So let's play a game. Don't know if you guys are ready for the game that we're about to play here. And this is a curveball, so be ready for this one. I'm going to set it up this way. The game is called Is This That?
Oh.
Is this that? Right? So by that, I mean an example of this parable. So guy searching for something, finds it, buys it, right? I'm going to leave out the part where he sells everything because I didn't sell everything, but I got a story. I got a story. So I'll set it up this way. I play on the worship team. These are my guitars here. This is a sample of them. I've got a few more at home. I came across them. I didn't buy every one of them. Anyway, there's a story there. So there is a guitar that exists. And I thought, is this my Pearl? It's not. Spoiler alert, but it's an Ibanez Pia guitar. I bought it in Stallion White. It's awesome. It's so great. It's very expensive. It's even used, it was like $3,500. It was pricey. They had one at Guitar Center on the wall. And I said, you know what? I'm going to buy that. The guy said, we'll do 0% right now. All right, we'll buy it. I bought it. I brought it home. I was like, yes, I got my guitar. It's the one. It's the one that got away, right? So if my first question is this that? Like I found the thing I was looking for. I was actually looking for this guitar. They had one. I bought it on the spot. Is that the Pearl? What do you think, Johnny?
Same situation.
Kind of, but it's not rewarding, right?
Right.
So like,
your Pearl's temporary.
yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say that the high of finding that guitar is going to wear off. It's going to diminish over time. And, sure, the guitar sounds good now or whatever, but over time, strings are going to break, necks are going to warp, you're going to have to get repairs done to it. It's not a permanent amount of joy. You found the joy in the moment of having that guitar, and I know a little bit about guitars, but I don't know a lot, so I know that that's a hard to find guitar. From what I understand, Ibanez didn't make a lot of them.
It's a special edition guitar.
Yeah.
There is a place, we're in Tri-Cities, Tennessee. There's a place in Kingsport that can order it for me. I did check because I can't find it again.
Yeah.
And the follow-up to this is that I did take it back the next day.
I
so
remember
bought
this
it.
story.
Yeah. I've told this a few times. I took it back the next day, and not because my wife was complaining over it. She actually said, keep it. It's awesome. It's beautiful. It was like the guitar forever, but I didn't need it. It was a lot of money. And it was like you guys have been saying, it's only temporary, but I think this is a trap that and even me, I followed my own trap. I was like, hey, this is the thing. This will bring me joy.
Yep.
Well, maybe not.
I've done the exact same thing. I like my flintlock rifles and stuff, and and I haven't actively done it yet, but I've been sitting here and eyeballing all of these flintlocks. I'm like, I want this gun. I want this gun. I got one sitting at the house. I don't need the other one. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of the same. I was actually actively bidding on one. And like the price kept going up and up, and I was like, I don't care. I'm going to keep going. Like it's worth this amount, and I'm still this much under it. And long story short, it sold for under what the value of it was. But I realized, like in this bid war, because at the time I didn't have a whole lot of cash on me, and it was like, man, this is a lot of money. And then I think it ended up getting like $800-900 on the bid, and I had like $2,000 sitting around. But I was like, is this really what I need? And at that very moment, if I would have won it, that would have been joy. But that diminishing joy is going to last. And funny enough, I didn't purchase it. And because I said, I've already got a flintlock, whatever. And 2 weeks later, I actually ended up needing that $800 that I would have spent on that gun.
Well, and this is one of the traps we fall into, is that we think it's about the thing.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not about the thing. It's about finding Jesus, and that's the whole point of the parable. But we can misinterpret, so we have to have that strong level of discernment and know in our own character that it ain't the guitar.
Yeah.
That's not going to bring you joy. You've got plenty. Be grateful for what you have.
Yep.
Don't keep chasing the next thing. And there's also different ways, like I could sell some, and use that money to. So it's not that I'm out or I'm not hurting for equipment to play on the worship team at all. So, okay. So let's get into some questions here. We're 10 minutes in. It's time for a question, right, guys?
Yeah.
So
only 10 minutes.
This is the twin parable. And in this case, Jesus used this as a contrast. So this is the second half of the one we covered earlier about the land. So what's the difference between the hidden treasure and the pearl in these parables? Johnny, go ahead.
Well, like I said earlier, the core message of the parable is the same, but there are three detail differences. We covered the one earlier, which is the discovery, how it's discovered. But let's look at the emotional response. In the hidden treasure parable, you see that for joy, he sold everything that he has. The difference is the merchant man, he reacts soberly and with a deliberate calculation of the supreme value of this pearl. So nowhere in the parable does Jesus use the word joy in the parable of the great pearl. But instead, it seems that Jesus chooses life experience to kind of bring about him seeing the value.
He's tailoring it to the audience. Is that
Right,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Okay.
Because, in this one, it's not so much about stumbling upon grace. It's about knowing that grace is out there and going on a search for it.
Yep.
So, maybe kind of liken this one to a person who maybe, like heavy into philosophy or religion, in its own self, religion, knowing that there is a truth out there, but wanting to find the ultimate truth. So they're on a search for it.
I got you. And that's a fantastic analogy today because there's a lot of people searching for the something.
Yeah.
Paul even mentioned it in Rome, the unknown God. Like, well, I know who this one is.
Yeah.
And we have almost the same thing happening with people searching for something. And what Jesus is saying in this parable is that something is this pearl that is basically me, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, that you need. You're gonna find it. And when you find it, you're going to want to get rid of all that other stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're going to want to get rid of everything. And then, you also got to look at the difference between what they buy. The hidden treasure, the man in the hidden treasure, he buys the field that contains the treasure.
Yeah.
But the merchant man, he actually buys the pearl itself.
I got you. Yeah, so I have a follow-up there, but we'll get to Avery. How about you, man? What do you think is continuing on that discussion of the difference in either finding it by stumbling, searching for it, or the item itself?
So a big thing that sticks out to me is one knows the value of what he's looking for. For one, he knows what he's looking for, and he knows the value of that. And it never says in the parable that it cost all of his stuff, but maybe he found it for a deal and it was all of his stuff. But he knows the value of what he's looking for, and he knows what he's looking for. In the first parable, this man didn't know that he was looking for something in the first place, and then he realizes the value once he finds it. But either way, you see that the value is worth more than anything else. So even though these differences are there, that value still remains.
Yep.
And we tend to get lost on selling everything.
Mm-hmm.
At least I do. Like, because I can calculate all the stuff I have and that's not worth very much money. But I think another way we could internally translate that is to say they did whatever they had to do
To get it.
to get the thing, to be with the thing.
Well, and talking about selling everything, I think it's just a good, like you said, a good visualization for people to see. But we remember that those things that we're selling aren't physical things necessarily. Might be, but not always.
Yep, I like that. So what do you guys make of the second half of this combination? It's a merchant.
Yeah.
So the idea there is that this guy's buying and selling all the time. He knows the value. He knows how to earn money. He knows how to leverage, I guess, resources. I mean, I'm thinking back in 2,000 years ago when Jesus talks about a merchant, probably not somebody that owned a storefront like we would think of today, probably a traveling merchant, right? Is that kind of the understanding?
Yeah.
I would say, yeah.
Okay. So is that significant? Is Jesus saying like even a merchant who knows this stuff, he sold everything and bought the pearl? And what I'm thinking of the underline there is that he may not have, even the guy that didn't have to risk everything still bought the thing.
Yeah.
Is that significant at all?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Because it ties, I feel like Jesus is tying it back to the same message that once you find the treasure, the pearl, whatever object it is, that you're using, in this case, Jesus is using hidden treasure and a pearl, but it's the kingdom of God, and whatever way that you wrap that up in a box, the value of the kingdom of God is the same no matter how you find it, whether you stumble across it, whether you're searching for it. When you find it, it's a universal joy.
Yeah.
100%. I agree with you on that. I mean, it's you cannot paint a clearer picture. Like I said before, that one didn't even know he was searching, and the funny thing about that is not knowing what he was searching for. You would think he wouldn't know the value when he found it, but he instantly knew the value.
Yeah.
So I mean, just looking at it, because it never says what that treasure is, but I'm going to imagine that you walk up on this treasure. Well, it's a treasure because you realize that value instantly. Just like when you find the kingdom of heaven, if you were never searching for it before, and all of a sudden there it is in your life, you're going to recognize that value, especially if you come with an open heart and an open mind.
Yeah, that's so true. This is going to be a surprise. We're officially one question in. So I do want to remind everybody watching at home, first of all, thank you. We do appreciate all the views that we do get. We are part of a bigger nonprofit called 72 The Mission. There's a link in our description that will take you to our faith website. We thrive on donations. And so if you have the means, at the bottom of that page, there's a spot to donate. We ask for a $25 a month donation that just simply recurs. If you break that down to a tithe, that's about $8 a week. That's really all we need to sustain what we're doing here forever. So we do appreciate that for everyone that's able to. If not, that's okay. If you could subscribe or give us a thumbs up on the video or even make a comment below, all those metrics really help the algorithm push our videos to more people so more people end up seeing it. And we appreciate that too. Time for question number 2. So I know it's funny, right? Like we get into it and then we just get into it.
We could probably go all night with one of these.
This guy, I appreciate this brother over here because he's trying to get us to go live for a 24-hour-a-thon. We'll plant that bug now. We'll see if that takes off. So our pastor at church says this a lot. If someone were to look at your phone, they took your phone and or followed you around. It used to be like if you have a camera, but now, I mean, the phones pretty much tell the whole story.
Yeah.
What would they say that you're actively pursuing right now? Now, that question is part of a thought process, right? Like people say something that may not be exactly what they are pursuing. So let's talk about that for a minute. What do you guys think either you or an example of somebody might be pursuing? Because we work pretty hard for the kingdom. We're all involved in church. We come to this podcast. We're out and about a lot. So we're probably not the average example. But what do you think the average example might be for someone who's what are some average pursuits people have?
So we had, I think we had this question in a previous podcast talking about if someone looks at you, what do they see? It's easy for them to see what political party you're with, but it's not always easy for them to tell you're a Christian.
I remember you said that. You said, I know if somebody's a Democrat or Republican before I know they're a Christian.
That was our episode on church and politics.
Church and politics. Yeah. That was the quote of the day, because that hit me pretty hard. Like, you're right. You absolutely know that.
Yeah, that's one of those things where a lot of they'll be able to tell your values when it comes to politics a lot quicker than being a Christian. So yeah, that's one of those examples, I believe, that we're talking about, or one of those situations.
And that's pretty timely right now too, because there's a lot of Christians who are pursuing politics in addition to Jesus, or I dare say instead of Jesus.
Yeah.
And I think that happens quite a bit, where a politician might get into office and then get wrapped up in the politics of it and say, oh yeah, I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
Or was. I think that's a trap that we can fall into if we're not careful.
Yeah.
Do you have something else, Johnny?
I would say career.
Yeah.
I think that's a big one for everybody, is their career. Most of us get caught up in pursuing what the world tells us is the most important. And one of the most important things that the world tells us is our career, what we choose to do with our life. And it's usually based on choosing the path that makes the most money, and I think that is what a lot of people struggle pursuing. I know I did for a long time. Personally, I did. I wanted to do something that I enjoyed, but I wanted to make a lot of money doing it. And that was kind of the trap that I fell in. And I feel like, especially younger Teenagers, it's just 18, 19, they just hit the workforce. I think there's a lot of pressure on them to do the same thing, pursue their career above everything else. Because what do people tell us? Well, don't get married until you're set up and you're stable. Don't start a family until you have a house. Well, what does all that require? It requires a career, and a career that can afford to do those things. So I think that that's a trap for a lot of people.
And it's funny, the statistics on setting up your life in 2026 now, but even like in 2020 was so simple.
Yeah.
If you simply graduate high school, not college, but high school, and then get married and then start having children, those were the three things. You're something like 75% more likely to be successful.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't have to buy a house. You don't have to own your place. You could rent an apartment or something like this. But for those that either don't finish high school and then have children and then get married, that's completely the backwards order, right? You can probably get one of those wrong, but if you get two of them right, you're probably in pretty good shape. And like you're saying, it's the world tries to convince you that career is first.
Yeah.
Is it?
I like that you bring that one up too, because man, I had a good one. Y'all ever do that? You start something and then you lose.
Oh yeah.
Oh, here we go. A curveball.
We'll give it a minute.
I'm not used to the curveballs. Been the guy with the curveballs, so I'm new to this. I got a curveball for you. And so when your career starts affecting your relationship with God, and what I mean by that is, what if it starts taking you away from your fellowship with your fellow Christians, or it starts getting into a position where you can't openly talk about God at work, or you even get in trouble? I'm currently facing a situation where, or I should say a decision, which I've decided not to do, but I could go work 2 days a week and make awesome for the 2 days, awesome money. It helps out a lot as far as finances go, but I'd have to miss church on Sundays. Yeah. Well, that's not helping me get closer to God. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that if you miss a Sunday, you're gonna, go downhill, but it's such an easy thing for me to want to do, because I would only work 2 days a week.
Yeah.
I would make like $700-800 working those 2 days and be off Monday through Friday, which you all know would be crazy awesome for my schedule and help me out a lot. But on the flip side, I'm missing church, and it's like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And then, I'm facing, some scheduling issues right now with work where it might make me miss some Wednesdays. I'll be honest, I'm probably going to get in trouble at work because I'm skipping some stuff I'm supposed to be at this weekend to help with VBS. I've got to be at VBS on Friday at 6, and then Saturday, and I'm supposed to be at the work thing. I'm not going to the work thing.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
So I was going to mention that when Johnny mentioned career, I was going to mention a lot of people's jobs require them to work, or can require them to work on Sunday. And what's the easiest way that the devil can start chipping away?
Yep.
First you work on Sundays. Oh, I can't make church. I got to work. And then you start hanging out with different people all of a sudden, who, not that people are bad, but if you're hanging out with the wrong crowd, we say this to our kids all the time, don't hang out with the wrong crowd, right? Mm-hmm. Well, why do we say that? Because it's important to surround yourself with people who have your best interest in mind. And then before you know it, you're not going to church at all. You're not reading your word. And now, because the job had you work on Sundays, right? That was the catalyst that starts it all. So that's something that we don't fully understand about giving things up. So you're giving that up to pursue the kingdom. Now, in these parables, both twin parables, the land, the treasure, and the pearl, these are items or transactions that can be tangibly seen. Mm-hmm. What about us today, where we can't fully see it? We have to give it up for something we can't see.
Yeah, I mean that's a difficult one. Like I said, it's especially with the work thing and the career thing. I'm walking away from money that I know is coming. I know if I stay where I'm at and I do this and that, but I'm walking into what? I don't know.
Right, it's an unknown, right?
It's scary because I have no clue.
Yeah.
And I mean, even talking about this right now, they might hit me next week and hey, you're fired for. It is what it is. And, the biggest thing is, and it has caused a little bit of a turmoil with me and the wife, not like, get out of the house turmoil, but it's like, and it's nothing, but she's a little worried, as most people would be. There's some people that probably look at me and be like, "You're an idiot," and it's like, but God has called me to do something different. I have glimpses of what the different is. I don't know what the full different is. I don't know the full picture.
Yeah.
I just know that God said, "You're doing something different, and I got to go do it." I'm terrified. I have absolutely no clue what's going to happen next. But to me, I have to do it. I have to just be obedient to God, because I know whatever is going to happen is going to be good. Even if it's bad at first. Let's say I walk away and I lose my house. Okay, that sucks. But what's coming down the line? I mean, I know that just the baseline level, I'm going to heaven. As long as I'm obedient to God and I repent, I can live in the streets. And I don't think God's going to make my family live in the streets. But if he does, that's what he does. Because even Job lived in the streets.
Yeah.
And he knew that his gift, his ultimate goal, his prize is going to be going to heaven to be with God and Jesus. So, if I have to live in the street, I guess the wife and the kids are going to live with the grandparents.
What was it Esther said? If I perish, I perish.
Yep.
Yeah.
So be it, right?
I mean, and it's scary to say that. It really is, because it's like, that's a reality that could happen. But I just got to remember, hey, God is my ultimate goal.
And it's technically a reality that anybody can hit, right? Realizing that, or that can hit anybody. So I should have said that. Realizing it doesn't change it.
No.
Realizing that, hey, like you wake up in the morning. Are any of us grateful that we woke up?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, thanks God for another day. Like, you don't have to look very far in the news. Someone dies every day now.
Yep.
Like, there's every day on the news, this person died at. The last I saw, somebody in their 40s. There was the lead singer of Three Doors Down. I forget his name.
Oh yeah.
He was like 49. He died. Like, oh man, okay. Well, that happens.
And on the flip side of that, why are we thankful for another day? Because we get to serve God.
Right.
It's not that we got another day, because even Paul wanted to die and go to heaven.
Yep.
But he said that is him being selfish.
That's right.
Him wanting to go be with God.
To die is gain is what he said. Yeah.
to,
love
to,
what he
to
said.
die is gain.
Yeah.
So we ought to remember too that yes, we're thankful to be here, but it's so that we can serve the glory of of heaven, and hopefully through doing that, God is able to touch another soul, and another soul is able
That's
to
right.
come into the kingdom.
That's right. So, Johnny, how about you, man? What's the significance of us giving up whatever the thing is for something we can't fully see? But in the parables, Jesus described things that you can see.
Yeah. I think it is significant. It plays in faith.
Mm-hmm.
It really makes you wonder where your faith is at. If we see the true value, let's say like this merchant man, that is searching for this pearl, he knows it's so valuable that it's worth giving up everything else that he's got to have this one pearl. If we know that, why are we so afraid of the unseen?
To actually pull the trigger and make the
To
transaction.
actually do it,
Right.
and it's like right now, I'm kicking around a lot of ideas myself, and I'm not pulling any triggers, and it's what really excited me about this parable and the other one that we did, is that it really makes you think.
Okay, so how about this? Let's play hypothetical game.
Okay.
Curveball number 3.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. How many false pearls do you think the merchant bought?
Oh,
Tons.
yeah.
And that's something I was going to bring up to add as a note is sometimes it is great to be obedient to God, but we need to stop and be still and to pray and to make sure that we are not doing our will, or we are not following to the will of a demon or
Right.
Satan.
Right.
I mean, those are real possibilities that are out there. So we do need to stop and think and pray and listen for God to speak to us in whatever way that may be, to know that we are going by God's will.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to mention. You kind of mentioned it ahead of time, which is fine. But that we have to have that discernment, right?
Yeah.
To where, and that's why some of us, like the three of us, we'll take our time with decisions, right? We don't always move too quickly. But then when God shows up, he shows up, you know, and you go, okay,
Oh, yeah.
I guess this was the right thing that we should be doing.
Yeah.
So It's just something just hit me about the upstairs here. We do this podcast from a basement area. We've been struggling with what to do upstairs.
Yeah.
It's
been a real struggle.
I'm throwing that out there right now. Well,
Yeah.
nothing yet. We're not going to just talk about any ideas, but
Right.
we will see what ends up happening here in the next couple of months. That'll be really interesting.
Yeah.
I don't
I'm
know.
excited to see what it winds up
Yeah.
being.
I don't know. I might end up living up there if things go wrong. So I'm just saying.
What?
No, let's not have that be the outcome.
Yeah.
I mean,
We
hey, but if it's God's will,
What is it? We'll throw you overboard?
Yeah.
We got you, brother. Don't worry.
I mean, I don't know if it's God's will though. Maybe that's where He wants me to be, full time at the
true.
mission. I could be here 24/7.
That's true. So how does this challenge our idea of success today, these parables? So when I think of success, and when I think at this point we can move on from like worldly success, we all know that that's not the real thing. What about Christian success, godly success? Okay, and here's my point. A lot of pastors measure their success by attendance.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think when it comes to success, we should look at, are we teaching our families how to be more Christ-like?
Okay, so
How
much
to
closer
walk-
to home.
Yeah,
You're thinking
yeah.
it starts right
It
with
starts
the
right
five
there.
people
And,
closest to
I
you.
mean, if you want to really judge your success, I mean, there's only one way to do it, and that's when the time comes to go meet the Lord. And I mean, but you really need to search your heart and say, and look at, and honestly sit down and look and say, these decisions I made in the past week, where did they lead me? Why did I make the decision? Did I make the decision because I needed money, or did I make the decision because it was what I thought was in God's will, or that it was for the kingdom of heaven? When you start seeing your decisions be more leaning towards the working for the kingdom, and this is one area that hopefully one day I'll be better at seeing, and hopefully that, now that I'm surrounding myself with my brothers and sisters, they'll call me out when I'm getting out of line, but my decisions should be for the kingdom of heaven. Let's say the decision to go to this work thing, which could, if I don't, could actually land me in some pretty serious trouble with work. I mean, I might get canned. To be completely honest, I'm right there on the precipice anyway with some stuff I've had going on. So it would not surprise me if I don't show up there and they're like, well, don't come to work Monday. Okay, it is what it is. But that decision is, okay, I can go do that and stay working, or I can go and do this VBS and show my son that I'm going to show up for the Lord every single time. And then, he sees that, he's like, oh, Daddy got fired. But when he's 20 years old, he's like, my dad got fired over his determination to be at the church, or to be with the Lord is the way I should put it, because I don't go to church because I have to. It's because I want to.
Yeah.
Right. I got you. No, that's cool. Johnny, how about you? How does this challenge our idea of success or even wealth?
I think it challenges. I think it challenges us to replace accumulation with holy reduction.
That's a good one.
And you put a twist on it, so we'll go down your avenue, because you could take it down the money avenue, or things. But
So we're taking worldly out.
we're going to take worldly out, and we're going down the Christian avenue. So you was talking about pastors and stuff. We have a real bad habit, of looking at other well-built churches and packed pews and stuff, and we look at that. We look at it and we say, okay, addition is success. But if you actually look at what Jesus taught, especially in this parable, the other parable that we did, and many of his other teachings, it's actually subtraction is where you find true success. If you look at the merchant man, he was willing to let everything go to buy this pearl. And so I think that really it challenges us to ask ourselves, have we ever found something that is worth giving up everything else for? And if we haven't, then we haven't found true success. And we all got to come to that crossroads, especially with the Lord. Do we view him in the way that Jesus is describing these parables? Do we view the kingdom of God and what God did for us, the sacrifice that he made on the cross, as the most valuable thing that we can possess on this earth? And if we do, then we got to completely change the way we look at success, and realize that it's actually downgrading. That's the way to go.
Well, and parable has served as kind of a litmus test.
Yeah.
Because even in my example of my silly guitar, right? Like I keep thinking in terms of things and not in terms of like Jesus and the kingdom and salvation and what ultimately the transaction is. Jesus dies for us. He gives everything for us. So we give everything for him. And the book does tell us that he wants us to have the desires of our heart. So it's not that we have to give everything up forever and be destitute. He just wants us to acknowledge the sacrifice and make it for him. So, guys, we are out of time. That is the end of the episode. So we finished it. Not too bad. Would we get through like 3 questions and a whole lot of curveballs with that one? That was a lot of fun. So
That was fun.
again, this is part of kind of like a 2-part series, the Twin Parables. In this video here, we covered the first one, which is the kingdom, the treasure that was found in the land and the man went and bought it. So click on this one if you want to check that one out. We do appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. And we will definitely see you next week.